Well, guys, here you are, Tarot Down Under. And let me just turn up the volume a bit. Is that better? Well, I'm in the unique position of coming to you from 2021 already. In Australia, it's New Year's Day. For most of you, you'll be still looking at the most boring New Year's Eve in the history of the modern world, really. All our cities were shut down, and I'm sure, well, at least I hope it's going to be the same where you are. So today I'm looking at the Georgia runoffs that are so critical. I've been dreading doing this reading, dreading it. They need those 2 seats, but Georgia's Georgia. It's closer than anyone would have dreamt, I'm sure. Georgia, like so many of these states, is changing demographically. In 4 years from now, you're going to start seeing much more going on. The change of allegiance as people from the outside world move into states like Texas and South Carolina. So we're having a look at Georgia, home of the sensational Stacey Abrams. Let's look at these two. I've got to get it over. I'm prattling. I'm avoiding it. Okay, so the first one I'm going to do is Purdue versus Ossoff. So let's see what's happening with that. I'll draw 3 cards for Purdue and 3 for Ossoff. Sorry about my Australian pronunciation. I'll just share a little linguistic moment with you, intrepid viewers. In Australia, we have 2 speech patterns with nicknames. So one is to add O to anyone's name. So if your mate's Dave, you call him Dave-O, If it's Rob, you call him Robbo. So we have ISO now for isolation. Everyone talks about ISO. But slightly more bizarre, we have a pattern of adding Zs to the end of things. So if your name's Warren, hi Warren in Skopolos, you become Wazza, or Darren becomes Dazza. And so we now have, I think it's possibly unique, quarantine is referred to as Quazza. So we have ISO and Quazza. Okay, more distractions. Focus, Lena. Purdue and Ossoff. All right, here we go. Oops, sorry, you're balanced on a cushion in my bedroom. We've got a full house here. So, Purdue. Oh. Huh. These 2 cards will be where it's fought out. These last 2 cards. So we've got major arcana here. So Purdue, the magician. So this is about power and transformation and the ability to make things happen. And like anything, it can be used for good or evil. So I'll let you make up your mind where I think that is going, representing the GOP in their support of Purdue. They will make everything they can happen. This is a judgment on the GOP, and it's a judgment on him. And it's a judgment generally. Wake up, America. Again, the cards are very ambivalent. Does this mean a rallying call to the right-wing base, or will they be judged in a bigger picture? But here's the card of theft. No, he won't win it, but he could steal it. So on Ossoff's side, you have justice, doing the right thing, decency and balance and representing people. You have another lovely card, the Two of Cups. Alliances and pacts, people have come on board with him. And strangely, you have the Victory card. So normally I'd be jumping up and down and going, woo, except it's right next to his victory being stolen. Oh, God. Should we be surprised? Look, no. America, I'm sorry, but you have so much work to do, because at the moment it is not a functioning democracy. And the deep irony, including what will be going on January 6th with, you know, the challenge and all that, that'll be my next reading, what's going to happen on January 6th. But the Dems have been so limp in saying, okay, if you want to talk about, you know, bad behaviour and even illegal behaviour and theft of elections, we will announce a full-blooded inquiry into this. To put it to rest, it's an opening for them to look at all the ways they suppress voters, the vote rigging, the very dodgy machines that somehow miraculously turn every second vote in for the Democrats into a vote for the Republicans. There are issues and they must be addressed, and it has to be a massive investigation that leaves nothing unturned. But you also need to standardise your national elections. That's what they are, national elections. So if each of the states does their, you know, twisted version, so be it to some extent. But if it's national, it should be standard. It wouldn't matter if you're in Alaska or Florida, there should be exactly the same conditions. I mean, it's basic stuff, really fundamental stuff. Okay, so now we're going to look at Kelly Loeffler versus Rafael Warnock. Let's look at Kelly Loeffler and Rafael Warnock. Loeffler and Warnock, same deal. 3 for Loeffler, 3 for Warnock. All right. Oh, this one's a bit trickier in a way. So Loeffler first, the card of nostalgia. This is this 40s, 50s, 60s American fantasy of what life was like, the card of nostalgia. And the Republicans are spectacularly good at milking this, this narrative. They managed to sort of keep people locked in to the 50s. Queen of Wands, for those learning tarot, with kings and queens, it's important not to get too hung up on the gender. They can be virtually interchangeable in the sense that this could be Loeffler Loeffler has power and more power with the Ace of Wands, the Fred Flintstone card, hitting people over the head and getting them to turn out and vote for this fantasy version of America. All right? So that's what's going on there. Warnock, though, gets the Lovers card, meaning he's popular and people are on side. The angel is on his side, being a reverend. The card of compromise, maybe it's a compromise for people to vote for him who wouldn't normally vote for a Democrat, maybe. Or it could be him compromising to get the Republican vote, but there's two-way street here. yeah, a great deal of compromise has gone on. But he gets the Fool card, and it's important to realise the Fool is rarely about someone being foolish. It's about new beginnings. So this could be a brand new day and Warnock wins, or I don't think he's going to go away even if he loses. It's going to be a new beginning for Georgia, whatever happens. And that's not a minute too soon. All right. So I think we have to take heart, regardless of the outcome. And for both of them to lose, it's an absolute disaster. For one to win, it's not quite enough. I don't have to tell you guys, you're very well informed. It is not good going in without having the Senate. But let us hope, regardless of the outcome, that there can be a few thinking, decent Republicans. Are there any such things? I'm just imagining. Maybe it's unicorn stuff. Maybe there's no such thing as a decent Republican. I don't know. Entertainment only. Okay, but maybe there's enough for some key big issues. And the smart thing for the Dems to do would be planning big infrastructure stuff to create employment, particularly in the poorer states. So, you know, we'll see what happens. So I think Ossoff is going to come closest and should win, but doesn't. Warnock, not sure. So I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing them getting the two of them up. So would love to be wrong, as always. You know, with so many of these things, I would cherish the experience of being wrong. Okay, now, what else is going on? Oh, the stimulus package, aka the disaster relief package, being held up for $2,000 by Moscow Mitch. Why is he holding it up? Well, to answer my own question, two reasons. The GOP hates spending money on the poor, hates it, because they believe the fantasy of America being an equal country, which it patently isn't. All the statistics say it is the most unequal country in the world. And so they actually believe if you're poor, you choose to be poor. Or you're lazy. You know, tell that to the single mom with 3 jobs. You know, like, so A, they hate that sort of spending. And B, this is the evil McConnell I'm talking about, he went on public record and said the Yeti's entitled to challenge anything in court that he wants. 100% support for any of these rubbish claims that are made. But he's really not passing it because he doesn't want the clause that says employers may be liable for making their workers sick or even dying because of their negligence, because they put profit over people every day of the week. So this is part of a bigger dynamic that needs to shift in all countries. Right, workers have to be represented. And I love Katie Porter for that. She's my new goddess. Okay, so what are we looking at here? Colin, Powell and Flynn. Powell has said, and he's not alone, Flynn should be called back to active duty and be court-martialed and be tried for insurrection or sedition or something. So let me just have a quick look. Will that fly? Okay, Page of Cups, Hostage, King of Cups. Oh, some lots of people in trouble and in tears. Okay. King of Cups is my Biden card. Page of Cups is someone younger. This can be the jail card for obvious reasons. Flynn, I think in his bones, knows this. Everything was bad enough with Flynn, having pled guilty to what was described by Judge Sullivan as treason. He at least admitted it. Then he got the pardon, and then because of the pardon, he went and sucked up to the Yeti and said, yes, challenge these elections. They're not good cards for Flynn. They're not good cards. I think Biden has to make a decision about lots of these cases, and the smart and obvious thing to do is to leave it to someone else. Just get the killer AG, please. That's your job, Joe. You really need a serious AG who's fearless and bulletproof, possibly literally. Right. So, before I go, what am I going to do here? Oh, yes. A quick look at Brexit, and I'll possibly do a more detailed one shortly. Brexit is a done deal. The UK has crashed out of the EU. At the 11th hour, they secured a rubbish little Mickey Mouse agreement that you could drive a truck through. Look, basically it says, we will keep talking to the EU about everything, and no, we haven't secured rights for our fisheries, and no, we haven't got the right to choose who comes to the country or not, and we haven't sorted out anything, and everyone's going to pay more for everything, but we're going to pretend it's all right. So let's have a quick look at Brexit. It means they'll be cut out of the security loop, the EU, and most importantly, because people have failed to pick up on the fact the UK, particularly England, is a little tiny island that can't feed its people. They too went with the Yeti in the version of Boris Johnson, and they have the highest rates outside of the US in all the first world countries. And even though they had what was a marvellous health system that was the envy of the world, universal healthcare, it's on its knees. They're getting 1,000 deaths a day. But compared with the stats in the States, it doesn't look so bad, but it is. It's really bad. So I'm going to have a look at the future of Brexit. I've said all along, very soon Boris will go. Okay, Brexit, immediate future for Brexit. And the finance industry, which was huge, now is cut out of the EU loop. It's one of their biggest sources of income. So immediate Brexit. Please tell me about the immediate Brexit. I want to thank everyone too. Thank you so much for your donations. I am so grateful, and I don't thank you enough. I'm really touched. So thank you guys so much. Okay. Brexit. Okay, there's a relief with the sun. There's a relief that some sort of deal has been struck. So strictly speaking, not a no deal, which would have been a complete disaster. So they can breathe again. You know, they can breathe again. The problem is, this is the card of impulsivity and revenge and jealousy and lots of those things. The problem was the whole concept of Brexit wasn't thought through and was very impulsive. Things are now going to hit home as the reality of not being in the EU marches forward with the chariot. And the Queen of Swords, who's going to point out in regards to every single sector of the economy, the legal implications. Apparently with small business, they will now have, it's estimated, for the average business, it will have 500 times the paperwork over a year than they had to produce and sign off on when they were in the EU. Think about what that means if you're a small business. Nightmare. So sun for now, a reprieve from the much feared no deal, but in effect, it's a very ineffectual, unworked out deal. So I predict in a month from now, the UK will really start to struggle even more than it is now. So guys, I don't have to say how much I love you, how much I adore you, how much I live for your comments. So please, please keep them rolling in. Mwah. Next time we're doing January the 6th. Bye. Dare I say, Happy New Year. I hope. Bye.